Okay.
For sure.
Excellent. So if anybody out there has a question for us, give us a call tonight. We're live in the studio at 1-866-483-3301. We're talking with Chris Boneless from Scope Paranormal, and Chris is about to tell us his story. What got you into? What got your attention? What woke you up?
Well, basically, I was on tour with one of my bands, and we were at a place called Fiddler's Green in Cambridge, Ontario, which is the old post office that's downtown. When we got to the venue, the club owner gave us a tour of the whole place and escorted us to the band room, which was on the 3rd floor, which was the clock tower of the post office. And he said that there's a ghost here. Her name is Emily, and she has been known to toy with bands that make fun of her and toy with people that badmouth her and stuff. And he said, make sure you don't do that, because I guess bands have played there and she's fiddled with the PA and it's gone down during their set and tapped people on the shoulder, the usual things that you hear. Mm-hmm. And at the time, like, I wasn't doing this stuff in Scope, so I didn't really know what to expect, so I was just kind of being a goofball, and I was like, hello, my name's Chris, Emily, I've never met a ghost before. If you'd like to introduce yourself to me or talk to me or show yourself, that would be really great. And that was kind of that, and I didn't really think much of it at the time. And then about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours later, I was on the 2nd floor getting ready for sound check, getting my shorts on and stuff for playing. And I heard a woman's voice say 2 syllables, my name, and then another 2 syllables. And it was enough to make me kind of yell out, okay, I'll be there in a second. I thought it was originally one of the bartenders from downstairs calling me for sound check, because I knew that it was coming up and that. And I didn't get a response. So I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And it was complete silence. I continued on what I was doing. And directly in my ear, after the silence, I heard the exact same thing. 2 syllables that I couldn't make out, my name, clear as day, and then 2 other syllables. And it was enough that made me kind of just pack up everything. I ran out in the hallway. There was nobody on the 2nd floor. There was people on the 3rd floor that I couldn't hear, and I couldn't hear the 1st floor of the building. So I can only assume that it was Emily introducing herself to me. I did say my name to her earlier on in the day, and yeah, that was the main experience of that night. Later on, we were walking down a corridor at the other end of the building, and we heard footsteps kind of at our head as we were walking down a metal staircase as well, which I guess the sound guy of the place thought that she was kind of attached to me because I had introduced myself, and he said, oh yeah, that's her, we hear her all the time. Yeah. So that experience kind of just sparked everything for me. And you know, I had a friend, like I said, Jeff Kane's the other co-founder of Scope. He had some experiences of his own, and yeah, we just ended up buying some equipment and started off small, and it's kind of built from there over the last 4 years. So
yeah, always equipment. Like, it never ends.
Oh, I know, it's endless.
Yeah, like, and thank God, because eventually, like, originally I was using like the reel-to-reel audio recorders.
Oh wow!
And they were just horrible trying to listen to things, because they're always like.
It's amazing the things they have now, like with Zoom recorders and stuff like that.
Speaking of, yeah, we got a Zoom.
There you go. There's one.
They're the best.
Yeah, those are one of our tools in our little tool case that we have.
Yeah, Zoom is good, and they've got some funky looking ones now too.
Yeah, yeah, we just got the N4 that has the crossed microphones. Yeah.
I'd like to get that.
But they pick up everything.
Yeah.
So anybody out there, pick up a Zoom if you're looking to catch EVPs.
Definitely. Now before we go on, we got a question from a caller. We have a question from an Emily from Peterborough, who wants to know if ghosts are fully clothed or just shadows. Why do ghosts wear clothes, maybe? Any thoughts on that?
Not really. Like, I know people have claimed to see figures in period clothing on several occasions, and that kind of identifies kind of the era that they're from. I don't know. I've never actually, like, nobody in our group has actually seen an apparition, so I can't actually speak out of experience on this one. But we have seen shadow figures, and Some shadow figures, you know, you see kind of elements of clothing, but it's really hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah, well, some of those shadow beings, they like to wear trench coats. And I don't know why, but they like the creepy trench coat. They do wear the fedora type hat. Another type of shadow being out there chooses to dress as a hooded monk, very, very druid looking. And there is another form of shadow being who looks like a three-dimensional naked man, about 5 foot tall. They're not the taller of the group. And they walk around, they look like they're just naked, but you don't see their junk, thank God. And they walk around, and those ones, they just sort of do their own thing, but sometimes when they've been noticed by people, they turn and charge and run at them, disappearing just before they get to the person. Otherwise, you know, other ghosts, they just wear clothes because I think some of them don't know they're dead, or some of them that do know they're dead, they choose not to move on. And so I think they just choose to remain in what they feel are the clothes that they died in.
Some sort of attachment to them, maybe?
Yeah, yeah. So it'd be probably clothes that they died in, I'm guessing, for the most part. Or even it could be the clothes they were buried in, perhaps.
I know some people think that it might be like something that was a favorite of theirs, like maybe a favorite hat, or, you know, favorite watch, or, you know, even jewelry, stuff like that. I've heard shows up.
Definitely, and I think more in regards to spirits, they probably pick a clothing that they know the person that they're visiting will recognize them in. You know, like, you know, nothing with bullet holes in it or knife wounds.
No gore.
No, but something to make you remember, you know, Uncle Harry or Aunt Jean, perhaps.
Exactly.
And but most ghosts, yeah, they do their own thing, and they tend not to care about other people, but you get in their space, you know, like we were saying with Chris, is you get out, or I've gotten go away, and that's a common one. Now, we've got another question before we go. Do we have Daryl on the phone?
How are you doing?
Hey, Daryl, thanks for calling.
Not a problem. As I was going to say, I was talking, well, to your editor there. I had a dream about my uncle. Before he passed away, about 2 days before he passed away, I had a dream he was dead.
Okay.
And he was laying in like a mortician's area.
Yeah.
And the mortician was bringing everybody else back to life. But I pointed at the casket and I said, well, bring him back to life. I said, bring him. And he said, no, I can't.
Yeah.
He said, no, I can't. And I woke up. And 2 days later, I got a call from my aunt telling me that my uncle was dead. And I was living in Yukon at the time. I got the phone call from Alberta. And I'm just wondering, like, is that premonition?
Oh, definitely sounds like a premonition.
You know, what's going on with that? And to this day, that happened about 20 years ago. And I still think about that to this day.
Well, I think, to be quite honest, let's see, you're probably close with your uncle?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's slipping away. You guys are in tune, and you didn't see him after he passed away?
No, I did intern his ashes about 25 years later. When my aunt passed away, I put both of them into where you put ashes there. You know?
Okay, yeah. I think that's, you know, it was a pretty good experience. That tells, to me, that just tells the love you guys had, the bond.
Right.
And that's why you probably had this premonition. You were just tuned in. Did you have concerns that he may be passing away before that?
Well, he did, yeah. He did tell me that he was dying, and he gave me a hug, but I went back up north.
Yep.
It happened about 8 months later. But about 2 days before,
yeah,
I got word from the family is when I had the dream.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. It's not uncommon. I think if you hadn't have had your premonition and the message got to you, I wouldn't have been surprised if you had have ended up having an apparition show up at the foot of your bed one night, of your uncle. But the message got to you that he was going?
Well, you guys were talking about orbs.
Yeah.
I was sitting in their house because I was I was the executor of their house. I was laying in their bed when my aunt passed away, and I did see an orb.
Okay.
I did see an orb in that house.
Oh, so you saw an orb with your naked eyes?
With my naked eye in that house. I woke up at about 12:30. Now, I know you guys are talking daytime, nighttime, but it was nighttime. But I woke up, and I did see an orb in that house.
Well, yeah. You can see them with your naked eye. But again, you know, for some reason, you know, the cameras we use, infrared, just pick them up a little bit easier. So that's why we use them. Like any digital camera has infrared. But
Yeah.
so now when you had your orb come through, did you have a good feeling with it?
Yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool. Like, they were moving on.
Okay.
They were moving on, you know. They wanted me to take care of their belongings and, you know, do what I had to do. But it was like, I just, you know, it I guess what's the best word is it blows you away, you know. I mean.
Yeah. It does. And you know what? Like, let's think. Do you ever try communicating with them? Do you like keep them in your prayers?
Oh, I do. Yeah, no, they're still close to my heart. But I guess, well, my aunt's gone now about 5 years or something, right? But yeah, no, they're always in my mind. They're always in my heart. Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So you're pretty lucky even to have that, because I was really close with my aunt, and considering what I do, and my aunt, she was psychic to a degree. She was able to read tea leaves. She never read for me because I was family, and so anyway, so since she passed away 10 years ago or more, I've been waiting for her to come back to see me, or I'll meditate on her to give me a sign, but I've never had contact with her. But you know, I know she's fine. She's passed over. But I thought if one person's going to come through, why not Aunt Cheese?
Yeah.
Well, that's right, you know, and that's like me too. Like I still have the big throw rug in the middle of my living room. You know, it's like I don't dwell on this, but you know, it was a heirloom, and I took it. But it's still in my house. I still have some of their belongings in my home.
Yeah. Well, keep looking for the signs, you know, and give us a call. Keep in touch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks for calling, Daryl.
Okay, thanks, Cameron.
Night.
Bye now.
Okay, so Chris, I'm going to let you take the next call. We got Catherine on the line. Okay, we had a question from Catherine, and she wanted to know what kind of camera you use to get ghost pictures. What do you recommend?
We use full spectrum cameras, which is a camera that has been altered to see the full spectrum of light, as opposed to regular cameras that don't. Yeah. We also use infrared IR cameras. They're basically stationary cameras that we set up all over different houses. Mm-hmm. And we also use Sony Handycams as well, with infrared capabilities as well.
Yeah, Sony's the best.
Yeah.
And yeah, and for me, I just use, I try to use like at least 12 megapixels, and 12, 14 megapixels, and you want to have good software to help play with the lighting in the photos and magnify them. And but any standard digital camera should shoot into the infrared spectrum. It's not night vision, but it picks up some of the infrared, which you just don't see with the eye. So what's your website before we go?
Website is www.scopeonline.ca. If anybody has anything you'd like to have us come out and investigate, we'd be up for it. And
yeah, I think
always
that's
ready.
I think that's great. So if anybody has an investigation, or you need some help, give these guys a call. You guys cover all of Ontario, like myself, I think.
We'll go pretty much anywhere. We've been to the States. Like we're going to Sarnia. You know, anywhere is fine for us.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming in, Chris.
Thank you very much.
And we'll keep in touch, and hopefully we see you all next week on Hauntline. Thanks for tuning in tonight.